National Hockey League Draft Lottery this weekend, all ahead of the draft itself in late June. Kuz, come on a little journey with me into fantasy land. We can do that in this business. Let's suggest for a second here, the Vancouver Canucks, somehow the universe comes together for them. Their number is called. They land that first pick on Saturday for the draft. What would they get in Auston Matthews?
First thing they do, they'd light the Olympic torches down at the plaza. If this was Calgary, they'd light the tower there. That's how much of an impact player he can be. Talked to Mark Crawford at length the other day in Switzerland about the kid he coached. You look at it, Jeff, the trickle-down effect of landing Auston Matthews would be unbelievable in this marketplace. Suddenly you're looking at a guy who, by all arguments, could play first-line center next fall. He's that dominant. Suddenly, if you're still of the mind that you're going to go after some free agent wingers, imagine if you land a couple of guys. Imagine if your second line is the Sedins and Brandon Sutter on your right side. It's a whole different story. It changes the whole conversation about next season, about not only where you play guys and who you might get rid of, who's expendable. Your asset management will become really important in the offseason. But Auston Matthews, from everybody I talked to, is the real deal, Jeff.
Well, I like the comparables that are being thrown out there. And again, we talk about Fantasyland. You keep saying imagine. It's all you can do right now. But you know, names like Joe Sakic come up. Some Anze Kopitar in him, and obviously Mark Crawford has coached both Kopitar in Los Angeles and Auston Matthews in Zurich. Anybody else that is thrown into that mix in terms of comparables?
Well, I think the interesting thing there is, of course, Crow coached Sakic in Colorado, and he likes Auston Matthews' presence. If you remember Joe, I mean, you know, you look at it, you watch the Avs play when Sakic would play, and at the end of the night, he'd have 3 or 4 points, and maybe you didn't notice him that much, but his presence around the puck was amazing, and that's what Crow likes about Matthews. He likes his release, very Jamie Benn-like, quick release, accurate release. And the thing about Kopitar, if you think about Anze, you know, he's always in the Selke conversation too, because he's a good two-way forward. He's got that physical stature going for him. So if you got a little bit of those 3 guys, that's really interesting. I think what is interesting, what Crow said about Matthews when it came to Sakic, is that if he were to come here, Matthews would get, obviously, the great schooling from the Sedins. And when Sakic was in Colorado, Peter Forsberg used to follow Sakic around everywhere. Do the same things. Joe's in the gym, I'm going to the gym. You follow him around like a puppy dog. It became better for it. If Matthews is here, he's going to get the unbelievable schooling from the Sedins. So you have to like it in all those respects. And Mark couldn't talk enough about Matthews' ability to play in traffic, to finish. The bigger the stage, the better he plays. 7 goals in 7 games at the World Junior. He's really anxious to get to the World Championship next month because all the talk of the Finns, he wants to go head-to-head against them. He wants to assert himself as a bona fide #1 pick.
All right, let me get this straight. Guy can score. He's responsible defensively. He's got size. Yeah, I think the Vancouver Canucks could find a spot in their lineup for a guy like Auston Matthews.
Yeah, they really could. And like I said earlier, Jeff, just the trickle-down effect. And what it would mean in this marketplace, I mean, the excitement level would be through the roof. You're talking about a plug-and-play player. And don't lose sight of fact of number 2 or 3. If they get one of those big Finnish wingers, it's going to be the same thing. It would be an unbelievable thing for the franchise. And with all the bad luck they've had at the draft table or whatever, through injuries, it would be a home run.
All right, well, we got to snap out of Fantasyland. Back to reality. The reality is that you've got a piece on Auston Matthews coming up in the province.
Yeah, I certainly do, and this is an interesting kid. People may not understand that he was a hell of a baseball player growing up, and his eye-hand coordination was extremely good, but he gave up on baseball because the pace was too slow for him. He's a big kid. He's a gregarious kid. He likes contact. He likes more physical things, and the first time he went to a Coyotes game, he was hooked. You know, gave the old parents the tug on the coat, I want to be a hockey player. And he's a hell of a one.
Well, we'll find out Saturday afternoon when the lottery balls drop where Auston Matthews is going to play, and if somehow, maybe, just maybe, it'll be here in Vancouver.